State versus Georgia State, 2-0. ASU leads. Sunbelt opponent, Georgia State Panthers. This will be the second year in a row App State will kick off its conference games against Georgia State. Last 2 years, ASU has only allowed the Panthers to score 3 points, and ASU has scored 80 points against the Panthers. After a slow start for Georgia State Panthers last year, they bounced back and went to a bowl game for the first time in their history, but lost. Plus, they beat the rivals from Statesboro, Georgia Southern Eagles. Last year, the Mountaineers allowed the only points the Panthers have scored in the series, and the Mountaineers had to pass the ball because of Georgia State's great job for preparing for App State's run game. But I expect the Mountaineers to win on Black Saturday 35-10 and improve to 4-1 on the season and 1-0 conference play. This will probably be another passing game since last year Georgia State was as tight as a drum on the run game. Next, ASU versus ULL at ULL. Wednesday night game. ASU leads 2-0. Sunbelt opponent, ULL, University of Louisiana Lafayette, Raging Cajuns. This game will be unusual with it being on Wednesday night. And after an off year last year, I predict ULL to be back in the groove of them old selves. And they are usually one of the Sunbelt's leading teams in the standings, and since Georgia Southern and Appalachian State University have come into the standings, it has been a struggle for them to keep up with the competition. With a lot of their players returning, this should make for an exciting game. But ASU's run game will prove to be the game winner and take home the W for the Mountaineers. ULL did not go to a bowl game last year, and ASU leads its all-time series 2-0. ASU stunned ULL the first year they played at ULL and just ran all over them. Last year, with a 28-7 win at home, ASU stunned ULL again. ULL is looking for revenge, so this might be a close game at first, but ASU will pull away once the dust settles, and ASU will win 38-28 and improve to 5-1 on the season, 2-0 in conference play. ASU versus Idaho. 2-0 ASU leads. Sunbelt opponent, Idaho Vandals. With Idaho leaving the Sunbelt in 2018 to go back to the FCS, ASU will have a chance to get all 4 wins. They already lead the series 2-0. With 2 more games left in the series, I think ASU will take the all-time series 4-0 when Idaho leaves Sunbelt in 2018. Idaho thought they could last in the Sunbelt, but they can't. With the talent the Sunbelt had, Idaho just doesn't have what it takes to keep up. The last 2 meetings have been blowouts for the Mountaineers, so I don't think this one will be any different. ASU will win on the ground like the last 2 meetings have been won on the ground. ASU will win 49-14 and improve 6-1 on the season, 3-0 in conference play. With Georgia Southern Eagles coming up next week, ASU's arch rivals, this will be a good timing call so we can rest our players for the GSU game and on a short week. This game will be held on Thursday night in Statesboro, Georgia. ASU, Georgia Southern. Rivals, Thursday night game, ESPNU. ASU leads 16-13-1. Sunbelt opponent, the Georgia Southern Eagles. This being on a Thursday night game for the 3rd year in a row, this is a great deal for both teams. Even if it's not rivalry weekend, it has a great chance to get the rivalry well known and get good TV coverage, but it's going to be a tough one to win. If Georgia Southern beats Arkansas State, it's undefeated in conference play, and ASU is undefeated in conference play, this can be a showdown for the Sunbelt Conference Championship in Statesboro. This will be an all-ground game. No doubt both teams will have one of the leading rushing in the nation and in the game. And last year, Georgia Southern tried to pass the ball, but they can't. They're not a passing team at all. ASU has nothing to worry about Georgia Southern passing the ball. All they have to worry about is running the ball. The ASU's backfield is so talented they can intercept any ball that Georgia Southern tries to throw. I don't think we'll have any trouble intercepting the balls too. The last 2 years, each team has won on their own turf and won the score 31-13, 31-14 each time, so I don't think that it will be that far away this year. The Mountaineers will take home the W with the score of 31-24, and the Mountaineers will improve to 7-1 on the season and 4-0 in conference play. This will be a huge win for the Mountaineers and probably take home the W and the conference championship that week. This will be the hardest opponent in the Sun Belt Conference this year, besides some other ones up there like Troy and Texas State with the new head coach in New Mexico State. So this year ASU should have an easy pickings from here on out, but still have some trouble maybe on later. App State versus Texas State. ASU leads 1-0. Sunbelt opponent, Texas State Bobcats. Information, brand new head coach. Last name, Montgomery. App State will face for the second time against the Bobcats of Texas State. This will not be a very easy win for the Mountaineers, but this Bobcats team played close until the final quarter with every team they played in the conference this past year. This stingy defense and amazing offense will bring challenge to the running game and to the defense for the Mountaineers, but I think they will blow out the Bobcats still with a pretty nice air attack. All ready to go. I think the Mountaineers will win this game 28-14 and improve to 8-1 on the season and 5-0 in conference play. This is the game I want to go see. These two teams are very well known at the FCS level and have almost made the title game in 1 year. That ASU went to the title game and won. When Coastal Carolina comes up, it will be my new favorite game. But for now, I want to go to Texas State Bobcats because they have a great team and a great chance to make some upsets. App State at Troy. ASU leads series 3-2. Sunbelt opponent, Troy Trojans. After a 4-time overtime win last year, this year should be an exciting one. The Mountaineers and Trojans are both expected to be really good this year. This may be one of the closest and heart-stopping wins of the season besides the Georgia Southern game. This game should be decided in the fourth quarter. I can't wait for this game. This game is my Sunbelt game of the week and the year, except for the Georgia Southern versus App game, of course, and Georgia Southern versus Arkansas State. I predict ASU to win 38-30 and improve to 9-1 on the season, 6-0 in conference play. Last year, ASU had a pretty good lead, but let slip in the final quarter and went into 4 overtimes till Troy made a mistake and going 4th and goal, and Zach Maddox made the game winner win with the Mountaineers field goal. I would never thought that last year would have gone to 4 overtimes against Troy, but the previous years ASU just squashed the Trojans at their house. But you never know what will happen in these conference games. There can be surprising upsets and more. This one, a close one. App State versus ULM. ASU leads 2-0. Sunbelt team ULM Warhawks. This should be no different from the last 2 years. The Warhawks expected to be the same as the last years. I think there's not much to explain than the Mountaineers' run game. It's just going to keep on rolling over the people. That's all I have to say about this game. The Mountaineers will win 49-13, no doubt, and improve to 10-1 in the season, 7-0 in conference play, and all but no doubt win their first FBS Sunbelt Conference trophy. In the last 2 years against the Warhawks, the Mountaineers have had a lot of big plays to help smother the Warhawks. Both games have helped play Mountaineers. They have played against ASU 2, and ASU leads the series 2-0. It will be 3-0 after this game. But the first year ASU played them at home, it was a close one, but they did manage to get by. So this year will be no different than a blowout, not a close game. Appalachian State at New Mexico State. First meeting, Sunbelt Conference. New opponent, New Mexico State Aggies. I predict this one to be not easy, but medium. This New Mexico State team is pretty hard. This may not be the best location for the Mountaineers to get handed the Sunbelt Conference trophy, but it will do. The Mountaineers will end up being one of the nation's leading rushing teams and probably get a big bowl game with a record of 11-1. But this may not be a close game, but a lot of backups will see action on the field. to prepare the Mountaineers for their trip to a big bowl game. The final will be 56-26. ASU and the Mountaineers will improve to 11-1 in the season and will win the Sun Belt Conference Trophy. This will be the first meeting and the first time ASU will be this far besides Idaho and Hawaii. This will be a fun game for our backups. ASU has plenty of games this year where they can rest starters and save them for big games and a bowl game. This will be one of those games. Maybe they'll not save them for more than half. We'll get to the bowl games later, folks. I am Jacob Matthew Elliott. Over and out.